She spilled wine on the woman who raised me and laughed while she did it. That single moment showed me exactly who my fiancée really was, but the terrifying part is how close I came to marrying her anyway. I'm Weston Cole, 29, and this happened in my family's home outside Charleston. This is the story of the night everything I thought I knew about loyalty came crashing down. I'd brought my fiancée, Priscilla, to meet the woman who'd practically raised me, our longtime housekeeper, Odessa. Odessa, I want you to meet someone, I said, pulling Priscilla forward. This is Priscilla. Hello, dear, Odessa said warmly. I'm Odessa. I've taken care of Weston since he was a baby. Oh, so you're the one who raised him, Priscilla said, looking Odessa up and down. How sad. Sad? What do you mean sad? I asked. I mean, look at her. An old woman still living off this family, hanging around a place like this. It's almost embarrassing. Come on now, babe, I said, trying to smooth it over. Don't be like that. I was just surprised, that's all, Priscilla said, waving it off. A servant being treated like family, like some distant aunt. My sister, Marisol, cut in sharply. That's enough, Priscilla. Odessa isn't just a housekeeper. She practically raised Weston. Well, she's done a wonderful job getting everyone's attention tonight, hasn't she? Dinner didn't get better. Priscilla kept needling, kept prodding, and I kept telling myself it was nerves, that she'd settle down once she got comfortable with my family. I was wrong, and it would cost me more than I realized. Isn't she staff? I thought staff didn't eat at the table with the family, Priscilla said as we all sat down. She always eats with us, I said. Really? I assumed she was staff, not a relative. Don't pay her any mind, Miss Odessa, Marisol said gently. It's all right, sweetheart, Odessa replied, unbothered on the surface, though I caught something in her eyes. Priscilla wasn't finished. It's amazing she's still here. I suppose at her age, where else would she go? Don't you have a retirement plan, Odessa? Or do you just plan to hang on here forever? Odessa is more than staff to this family, Marisol snapped. She's like a mother to Weston. How sweet, Priscilla said with a thin smile. I always thought Weston was a strong man who knew his own mind. But it seems he's a little easier to push around than I realized. I should have said something right then. I didn't. I told myself it wasn't worth the fight. Then it happened. Odessa was pouring water near Priscilla's seat, and Priscilla's arm shot out deliberately, though she'd claim otherwise, knocking the glass so wine spilled directly across Odessa's blouse. Oh my goodness, Priscilla said, feigning surprise. I didn't expect you to be so clumsy near me, Odessa. Then, turning to me, honestly, why do you still let someone like this stay here? That was beyond rude, Priscilla, Marisol said. That was deliberate. It was an accident. Odessa, soaked and humiliated in front of the whole family, simply said, It's all right, dear, let it be, and quietly excused herself to change. And through all of it, I said nothing. I just sat there. If I had known that night would define everything about who I really was, I would have found my voice a lot sooner than I did. After Odessa left the room, Marisol turned on me furious. Did you really have to let that happen? I don't know what you mean, I said, though I did. Yes, you do. You watched Priscilla bully Odessa all night, and you did nothing. Maybe she just doesn't know how to fit into this house yet, I said weakly. I'm not saying what she did was right, but I don't think she meant it that way. Sure, Weston. Believe whatever helps you sleep tonight, Marisol shot back. But you know who's the most disappointing person here tonight? You. You stood by and watched Odessa get humiliated in front of everyone, and you said nothing to defend the woman who gave her entire life to raising you. I don't recognize you anymore. The man I knew would never have let this happen. Her words stung because they were true. Later that night, I found Odessa in the kitchen, changed into a spare blouse, still composed despite everything. Aren't you angry at me? I asked. I didn't even defend you. She just smiled sadly. If you can't understand it on your own, son, No words from me will mean anything. The next morning, I sought out my grandfather's old friend and our estate manager, a man named Roland, who'd worked for our family for decades and had known me since I was a boy. "This house hasn't felt right since the other night," Roland said quietly, "and it's because of what happened." "I know," I admitted. "I just don't know what to do." "You do know, sir. You just don't want to face it." "I didn't mean for it to go that far." "Then which was it, lack of care or cowardice?" "If you don't act soon, sir, you will lose the most important person in your life. And when she's gone, there's no bringing her back." Those words haunted me all day. And they turned out to be more prophetic than I wanted to admit. That afternoon, I overheard Odessa telling Marisol something that stopped me cold. "Maybe it's time for me to leave," Odessa was saying. "All my life I've cared for Weston. But if there's no place for me in his world anymore, I don't need to stay here." "Leaving," I said, stepping into the room. "You can't leave, Odessa." "And why not?" she asked. "This isn't my home anymore." "What do you mean? You've always belonged here." "If that were true," she said quietly, "why does it feel like I don't have a place here?" "You can't leave. You're my family." "Are you sure?" Her eyes met mine, steady and searching. "You know what the most painful thing is, Weston? It's not the cruel words. It's the silence." I had no answer for that because she was right. "Please don't leave," I said. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. I didn't defend you, I let you down. You're a grown man now, Weston. You don't need me anymore." "That's not true. I can't imagine this house without you." "Then why did you let them treat me that way?" she asked. "I don't blame you, but maybe it's time I start my own life." Roland found me standing there afterward, stunned into silence. "Master Weston, if Miss Odessa truly matters to you, show her. Because if you don't act now, you're going to lose her." "The answer you're looking for," Odessa told me before walking away, "you have to find on your own. I can't teach you this part." That night, I went looking for Priscilla, ready to have the conversation I should have had days earlier. What I overheard on my way to find her changed everything. "This house is gorgeous, Cal," I heard Priscilla saying to a friend on the phone, laughing. "It is, but there's a lot of clutter in it that shouldn't be here. Especially the old useless things." "Who are you talking about?" her friend must have asked. "Who else? That old servant." Honestly, you should have seen her standing there soaked in wine, looking like a wet dog out in the rain. Something in me finally snapped. "We need to talk," I said, stepping into the room. "Oh, Weston, you're back. Can we do this later? I'm on a call." "Now," she hung up annoyed. "What was that you were saying in there?" I demanded. "About your sad little maid." "Weston, you're being so dramatic. It was just a joke." "A joke? Mocking a woman who raised me, that's your idea of a joke." "Weston, why are you suddenly different?" "What's wrong with you? If you can't respect Odessa," I said, "you have no right to be in my life." "What? We're done." "Priscilla, wait, you're breaking up with me over a maid. Over someone who has been more family to me than you ever were. You can't be serious." "I'm completely serious. I thought I loved you, but I don't know you, not really. The engagement is off. You're going to regret this, Weston. I'm warning you. The only thing I regret," I said, "is not seeing you sooner." I found Odessa afterward and told her everything. "You don't have to leave," I said. "I'm not going to make hollow promises, but I know one thing now, I will never let anyone treat you as less than who you are." "And who am I, son?" she asked softly. "You're the woman who raised me. You're not just my caregiver, Odessa, you're my family." "I've been waiting a long time," she said, her voice breaking, "to hear you say that. Will you stay?" But Priscilla wasn't finished. The next morning she was still in the house, refusing to leave, convinced she could talk her way back into my life. "I thought you'd be all packed and ready to go," Marisol said coldly, finding her still lounging in the guest room. "I'm just telling the truth," Priscilla replied. If she had any dignity, she'd have left already. "What did you do?" I said, walking in. "Get out. You're throwing me out because of her." "I was a fool to believe you were a good person," I told her. Now I see who you really are. You're not just cruel, Priscilla. You have no heart. Come on, Weston, you love me, don't you? I don't know you, I said. I'm not just removing you from this house. The wedding is canceled. You can't do this to me. I just did. She tried one more angle, following me into the hallway, her voice shifting to something softer, more pleading. Maybe I was a little harsh with Odessa, but I did it because I love you. A man of your status shouldn't be controlled by some poor, useless old woman like her. Don't you ever talk about Odessa like that again, I said. She's my family. She's just a servant. You'll never understand this, I told her, because you've never been capable of loving anyone but yourself. So what now? You're going to throw me away. We have a wedding being planned. You can't humiliate me like this. Humiliate you? You did that to yourself. Do you really think anyone in my family will accept you after what you did? You'll regret this. You need me. I'm the one who gives you connections, status. I don't need status, I said. What I need are people who actually care about me. The wedding is canceled. Pack your things and leave. You think I'll let you do this, she hissed. I'll destroy you. I'll go to the press. I'll tell everyone you betrayed me. Do it, I said. Let's see who they believe after everything you've done. She left that afternoon, and the house felt lighter the moment her car pulled away. That evening I found Odessa in the garden and knelt beside her chair. Please forgive me, I said. Sterling Weston, you don't need to kneel. I was wrong. I let you get hurt. I didn't stand up for you when you needed me. But from this moment on, I'll never let that happen again. I gave her something I'd been planning for weeks, the deed to a small cottage on the edge of our property, fully hers. No strings attached. I remember when I was little, I told her, you said you'd always dreamed of receiving a real gift one day from someone you truly loved. You don't have to do this, son. Yes, I do. You gave me everything. You loved me without ever asking for anything in return. I can never repay all of that, but I want you to feel how much I value you. The little boy I raised has truly grown up, she said, tears in her eyes. That night at dinner, I stood and raised a glass. Tonight isn't just about sharing a meal. Tonight is about celebrating someone who shaped my entire life. I made a lot of mistakes. I let myself get caught up in the wrong things. But now I know what truly matters, not wealth, not status, but the people who love us without asking for anything in return. Odessa raised me. She loved me like her own son, and I let her suffer pain she never deserved. From this day forward, that will never happen again. In the weeks that followed, something in our house shifted permanently. I found myself waking early just to sit with Odessa in the garden before work, something I hadn't done since I was a teenager. You really have changed, Weston, she told me one morning. It took me too long to understand what family really means, I said. But I won't fail again. She moved into the cottage not long after, close enough to visit every day, far enough to finally have a place that was entirely her own. I never thought I'd have a place like this, she said the day she moved in. You deserve it, I told her. You took care of me my whole life. Now it's time for you to rest, to enjoy some peace. But wherever I am, she said, I'll always be part of your life, won't I? You're not just part of my life, I said. You're my family. And you always will be. Looking back now, I think about how close I came to marrying someone who saw kindness as weakness and loyalty as something to mock. It took one spilled glass of wine, and a lot of silence I'm not proud of to finally see clearly who deserved a place in my life and who didn't. So here's my question for you. Have you ever stayed quiet too long around someone who was hurting the people you loved? What would it have taken for you to finally speak up? Let me know in the comments and tell me where you're watching from tonight. If this story hit home for you, please hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.